So qualifying at Brands Hatch for the Rapid Honda team has not entirely gone to plan. Deco's been on form all weekend and he did a good lap in that session and he is 8th on the grid. But Luke Mossy pulled out a blinding lap at a 1 minute 25.9, which is middle of the Superbike grid kind of lap pace. Unfortunately for Ash, on our side of the garage, his first flying lap he took to the front into Graham Hill Bend, and we now have to fix a bike. But it does give us an opportunity to show you how we fix a crash damaged race bike. Rob pushed the bike into the awning and I thought, that actually doesn't look that bad from the front, but the damage is slightly more extensive than that. So, clearly bent handlebar, so that needs changing, and that's not the only one because the other handlebar is definitely bent as well, so it's definitely handlebars. And then you look in here and go, the clock bracket is obviously on the move as well, so the whole air scoop clock bracket assembly needs to be changed. All of the fairing is damaged. Not bad, but it is all damaged. Then we've got quite a lot of grass in things, so we'll need an engine cover. The footrest has actually nearly survived, considering he locked the front on the left. He's actually not spent that much time on the left. So this side of the bike has done the seat unit. We'll have to check if the subframe is straight, but this side's not too bad. And from the back, everything looks relatively straight, so we might have got away with that. That isn't particularly straight though, so it is going to need an exhaust pipe on it. And obviously you hope it's just the link pipe and end cam. I mean, the link pipe is basically flat there, but it's crumpled the link pipe down there as well, and so we'll have to take that off and then decide if the actual header pipes are straight. There is grass stuck in things, so rear wheel, we need to take that out. We can take that to Pirelli and get them to spin it on a tyre balancer and actually see if the wheel's straight. Again, footrests barely touched, which is a bit of a miracle. And then when we go down this side of the bike, the engine protection's had a little scuff, but nothing too bad, so that's not too bad. Yeah, it's lots and lots of little bits. And so the first thing we need to do is actually take the bike apart. So all the fairings off, we'll have the tank and bits off as well. Exhaust system off, and basically strip everything off that we know is damaged, and then we can assess each piece individually, go and check wheels and bits like that are actually straight or not, and then work out what we need and write a bit of a list. So we've got Motul Moto Wash on it. This stuff is excellent. So we'll spray that on, basically give it a little, we've got a little mini jet wash, we'll blast it off, and that will get rid of all the dust and grime off it, and then it's much nicer to work on it, and it means when you start putting it together, at least you know everything is clean. With the bike very nice and clean, like new, now it's on to stripping the last few damaged bits off. So Rob is on with removing the somewhat bent exhaust hanger. James is picking out bits from the clock brackets and bits that are broken. So the clock bracket is broken up here just on the mount, so that one is no good anymore. Luckily these original Honda ones actually aren't big money. James is just removing the rear brake light, rain light switch that we mount in there, because then it's out of the way. And so yes, we are now into stripping the last few little bits off that still need to come off, and then we can actually start getting the new bits together and rebuilding. While Rob and James are stripping the bike down and sorting it out, I'm having a little look at the data. So looking at this, I've overlaid the lap he crashed on is the coloured lines compared to his quickest lap in free practice yesterday. So the only difference is he's actually got a little bit more lean angle today. He's got 4 to 5 degrees more lean angle. His brake pressure is pretty much the same, and his actual wheel speeds are similar. He's just braked a little bit later, and he's just got a little bit more lean angle on, and that 4 or 5 degrees of lean angle does appear to be the difference. Because this was the first lap he was pushing on the new tyre, it could be that the front tyre maybe wasn't completely up to temperature, because he had rolled a little bit on the previous lap to get himself some space. So it could be that we're basically pushing the tyre a tiny bit harder than normal, and it might have been a couple of degrees cooler than normal. So the combination, I suspect, is what's caught us out there.
Yeah, so we had a plan for qualifying, a very good plan. It was all going to plan. Yeah, finally got some clear space, which is what we was lacking in free practice. Came in, put the new tyre on, did my out lap, started my first flying lap, and yeah, thought feel good. Sector 1 was good until it wasn't. yeah, just got a bit greedy into turn 3. Lost the front. Yeah, one of them. You have to, in super stock, with how close the times are and how fast the times are now, you've got to be on it. So, yeah, it's a very fine margin between error and no error. So anyway, yeah, had a little tumble, got up, and then yeah, noticed I had quite a bit of pain in my chest and my lower neck. Anyway, went to the med centre for a checkup, and yeah, it turns out we got a bit of bruising and swelling underneath the sternum and around the rib cage. So yeah, don't feel brand new, but yeah, could be also be a lot worse. So it's not my confidence one bit, and you know, we're getting faster every week, and it's like can't ask for a lot more than that. So yeah, not my confidence, and believe me, we'll bounce back at Alton Park in 2 weeks.
Fork legs are back from Olin's being checked. They're actually perfectly straight, just one of them had a very small nick where it's flicked a stone up or something on the tube, so they've dressed that down and actually popped a new seal in just in case it had travelled through it and damaged the seal already. So they've got a clean bill of health now. The lads are putting them back together, and this is when it's important to know all your settings. So we need to know obviously exactly how high the fork was sitting in the yoke, so we can reset that. Handlebars are back on it. In Superbike and Super Sport, we'd have handlebar assemblies completely pre-made. So we'd have the master cylinders, the switchgear, the throttle, everything already on. And because you were allowed in Super Sport and Superbike, you're allowed dry brake or quick connectors on the brake line, we'd have it so that was built and the master cylinder bled up, so you could literally just change the bar, clip the new brake line together, off you go. We're not allowed the quick connectors in stock, so it sort of means there's no real need to have the whole handlebar built up in advance, but the boys have nearly finished it, so the front end will be back together in no time. While Deco has been out for his race, the lads have been grafting away, and the bike is very nearly back together. One of our spare Arrow exhaust systems is fitted onto the bike. The fairing is going back on. This is the one he crashed. It's actually not in bad shape at all. A little few scratches here and there, but it's pretty good for having had a tumble. Unfortunately, while the lads have been fixing Ash's bike, watching Deco's race, he's had a little slip-off coming out of Druid as well. The bike basically pivoted round on him on the side of the tyre and then give him a kick and flicked him over the top and through the screen. So we've crashed that one now as well. So now we're going to show you how to fix another crashed Fireblade. Rob is riding Ash's bike off to Scrutineering to get that checked, and Tony and Jamie have just started stripping Deco's down. So like we did with Ash's, we always check inside the airbox, take the air filter out and just have a blowout, make sure there's no debris in there. Deco's one did not go off the track, which is actually why we got red flagged, because it basically pitched him off and then slid down the middle of the track, so it wasn't safe to keep racing with it in the track, so they stopped it. So there shouldn't be any debris, but it doesn't do any harm to whip the airbox cover off and check. And because the bike didn't actually go off the track, it is surprisingly clean for a bike that's been crashed. There are, of course, the usual bits. Even though it sort of came round on him on the right, it actually hit the floor on the left. So the paddock stand bobbin needs replacing because it's bent the bolt. The footrest has snapped the end off. These spider footrests actually have a weakened part in them, so it snaps the footrest in the middle instead of wiping out the whole rear set. So that needs replacing. Engine covering needs replacing. The radiator header tank has now got some patina on it. The fairing bracket has definitely been warm as it slides down the track, but the bike underneath is actually looking pretty good. It did have a little clip on the right hand side, so it has just clipped the end of the Arrow exhaust pipe and given it a little dent, but when we picked it up from Scrutineering, I just got the silencer and pulled it out away from the swinging arm, so that is absolutely fine, and it's not even touched the footrest, so this side of the bike is okay. To push it back from Scrutineering though, we did actually take up a spare handlebar tube, so we changed the handlebar tube in Scrutineering, and yeah, it scuffed the clutch lever and basically sort of slid down the track on the handlebar. So the thumb brake is okay, it has twisted the paddle a bit, but it's serviceable, so that will go back on when it's got a new reservoir, but the switchgear got wiped out, so Isla has just got another one out the stock box.
It's one of them, just went, tried to catch it and it bit, so that's what it is, keep going. Not the best, not seen a checkered flag in a while, but listen, we'll go again. Always tomorrow. Start at 6, so take the positives out of this one. Bike's not too badly. I've got a sore arse, but we'll be alright.
Deco's bodywork has actually worn through harder than Ash's did because it actually spent more time on the tarmac, so it needs another left-hand panel. The actual wing section will go again, and the right-hand one, I think it was actually probably Deco himself that's probably broken the gel coat on that, so if we needed that panel emergency it would go again. The wing's fine, but they'll get tidied up probably before they're used again. While Tony and Jamie were putting the bike together, realised the thumb brake was sat at a slightly odd angle and realised, I'll see if I can zoom in. Right in there you can see a tiny little crack, and yeah, so it was a very good check and a very good spot because that'd be easy to miss, but we don't want to risk running that and obviously having anything go wrong, and so that's another bit we need to replace. And the good news is, Tom from Motorcycle Race Parts has been around and dropped us off some more spider bits. The joys of having paddock support, so we've got some more clips for the span adjusters because they break quite easily, but it means you don't write off your actual span adjuster, some foot regs and handlebars, and so that is useful to rekindle our stock. So Tony and Jamie are just putting the fairing back on Deco's. It has also had its usual service stuff in an evening, so that one is nearly ready to go. And over on Ash's side of the garage, our bike is finished, it's been to scrutineering, it is ready to ride, even if the rider isn't, and Rob is having a well-deserved beer at the end of that. We didn't rush to get that done today, but the important thing when putting a bike back together is clean it, clean it again, take off all the bits you can see are broken, check absolutely everything else, and then be methodical in putting it back together.
Exactly that. It's almost like you need to build a new bike within reason. But yeah, everything has got to be checked, and really you can't do that until it's clean. So that's the first job, and probably the most important.
So we haven't rushed today. If we'd have had a race and it had been an hour and a half, we probably could have actually got it turned around. But because we've had time, it's meant we can be a little bit more methodical with going through the details.
If Ash was even thinking about wanting to have a go, we'd have been ready way before, because there was a fair bit of damage, but nothing massive that's not easy fixable relatively quick. So yeah, if we needed to be out here within an hour and a half or so, we could have easily done that. But knowing that he wasn't going to be going out, it's a bit more leisurely, which is nice.
Well done, Rob.
Thanks, mate.
So with one bike actually finished and the second bike very, very close to finished, that is our guide to how to fix motorbikes on a race weekend when things have been going a little bit wrong. Hopefully tomorrow things will get better, but we hope you've enjoyed this instalment, and we'll see you soon for hopefully some actual motorbike fun. Unfortunately, the weekend didn't get any better. Deco got tangled up in a first corner incident and thrown through the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. Luckily, him and the bike aren't too bad, and so I am sure things will get better in a couple of weeks at Alton Park. Thanks for watching.